London. Sara Pratt, after her father passed 2 months before, tries to work out who this foundation is that her father had worked for, knowing that he was threatened and bribed, and that she and the rest of the family was held at ransom. She stops at nothing to find out about this foundation. After looking into the world events of the Battle of London, vampires, werewolves, mummies, monsters existing, she knew that she was no longer in a world of natural beings. One night, at a crime scene, she saw a dead person laying in a pool of blood, with his throat ripped open as if by a bare, vicious animal. Sara gets a good look, given that she is a rookie detective. She looks and says, "What kind of vicious bastard could have done this? I don't know, if you ask me. It's probably one of those vampires or werewolves again. God, you remember when people used to say, there's no such thing as monsters? How wrong we are now about that." Yeah. Then, a team arrive at the crime scene. They ask that everybody leaves, and that what they're going to do is need to know secrecy. One of the detectives at the crime scene tells them, "Why are you keeping things secret when the cat's out of the bag about monsters existing?" The man in the suit, Agent Tod Browning, then says, "Because there are things that you people will never understand and refuse to understand due to your negligence. Now please let my team do their work." They then leave. As for Sara, she hides, watching. Going up to one of the bodies, one of them going up to the body, a woman. He then says, "All right, psychic, let us know." The medium then conjures the spirit of the murder victim. The murder victim being horrified with what's become of them. They then say, "Could you tell us who did this?" The murder victim saying, some fucked up vampire shit," before leaving the body. The psychic woman telling them that if their possession stays for too long, they start to latch on. Agent Browning then said, "Well, of course. What do you think?" as he shouts down to Sara who he can see hiding. The next morning, Sara wakes up in her flat and goes to work at the police station. Her partner and colleague saying, "Well, what kind of a night did you have, going over all this paperwork that we're going to have to do in the long run?" "I know, Marcus," said Sara. "What are you doing anyway?" "I need to look up this foundation." "Oh, this team again." "Look, the foundation are obviously great intelligent people and they don't want to be found. Why do you want to find them so bad? Marcus says. Because, Sara tells him, I need to know what my father was doing, working for this foundation. He always told us that he was a pharmacist salesman. Look, your father clearly has knew what he was doing when he signed up for this foundation. I think you need to let it go. Later on, she goes to the hospital where she wishes to observe the body of the murder victim. The coroner saying that they had puncture marks on their neck and their throat ripped out, as if by teeth. They knew it was a vampire. Then, Sara leaves the morgue. As she leaves the morgue, she hears something. Going into a dark corridor to investigate, she then sees a person staggering along as if they were dragging themselves. It's then revealed to be a zombie. Sara looking, saying, "Are you okay?" The zombie looking at her and groaning, going, The coroner then comes in saying, "What's going on?" "Hey, hang on. You're that bloke that came in last night. You got bit or something and then died later." "Wait, you don't think he's one of them? I don't know, stand back." But then the zombie bites the coroner on the neck, making him bleed out. That is when a team of Foundation agents come out of nowhere and restrain the zombie and also get rid of the coroner's body. Then Agent Tod Browning then says, "You again. You're quite nosy, aren't you?" "I want to know everything," she tells Agent Browning, "the truth." "Very well, I guess you'll have to come with me." Browning takes her to another location, a secret small hub, hidden deep within the London Undergrounds, hidden underneath. Sara's saying, "This is quite the maze." "Yes," Agent Browning said. "Quite the base. Churchill used it in the Second World War as a bunker." He then takes her to this small place of work owned by the Foundation. Then Agent Browning then introduces the team that he runs and works with, introducing them, saying, "I want you to meet our team. Raoul Tay, historian. He goes over the history and tells us what we need to know about monsters we're not familiar with. Here is Crichton Tull. He's our security of this location. And don't get across him in a full moon. He's like one of our other people that we have here, Mr. Talbot. Deborah Carpenter. She is our team technician and is good with computers, such as a CCTV recorded in the hospital. She's changing and altering them as we speak." Deborah then saying, "Yes, I'm going to make it look like the coroner died of a fatal heart attack." Then, also looking, he says, "This here is Dr. Lee Curtis. She is our science and medical officer." And then here is Brendan Stoker. He is the office boy. Gets us coffees when we want them and information when we need them. "Pleased to meet you." She then goes, "So this is the Foundation. That my dad worked for? Said Sara. Yes, he was a good employee, and his death was a great loss, but also what he did violated protocols. You see, he was the coroner of one of many coroners of this foundation. He was instructed with destroying the body of Victor Frankenstein, but another facility, the Order, who are an extremist group of people that have their own researches and stuff, bribed him and had his body taken or something. I don't know. We let the creature Adam deal with that. Adam, yes. We find that some of our monster recruits need an assigned agent. We have Dr. James Whale for Frankenstein's creature Adam. I was with Dracula for some time, but he is taking a long... Well, let's just say he's taking some time out, and I don't know when he wants to wake up. It'd be when it suits him. But when the Monster Squad will be needed again, I'm sure we can wake him. The Monster Squad, yes. The Battle of London. Now, I hope you have the answers that you were looking for about your father's line of work. Well, no, I'm not satisfied. I want to know why my father kept this a secret. Because we are a secret organization. At least we were till, our current director, Griffin, wanted to expose everything, and, he thought that the event occurring, we are not going to be able to, keep this secret. So we had to introduce the world to monsters. How religious groups and other humans that do not understand shit have taken it. We are now, in a great state of bother with this. Agent Browning? Yes, Tay. Very important we know people by their names here. Yes, I have noticed the history. The bite that the murder victim sustained was probably from a young vampire, so not a very old, ancient one. That's helpful information. Thank you, Raoul. Raoul is a fine historian from Egypt. His great-grandfather worked at a museum where they studied mummies. In 1932, he came across the mummy, or at least saw the mummy Imhotep. Yes, studied the gate as well, which kept Imhotep stained. Okay, so, said Deborah, I've made the footage look like he's collapsed from a heart attack. A zombie, he won't look like he's been attacked by one. Good, excellent. And did you be sure to puncture the brain so that he would not turn? Yes, sir. Good, excellent. Ah, yes. Come, I wish to show you something. Taking her to a cell block. There, she sees a zombie eating flesh and some brains. Browning tells her that's a zombie. Undead creatures originated from African culture and Haiti, but they are all the same undead creatures that feed on brains. They feed on brains to regain their intelligence and flesh to regain their, flesh. Of course, when they don't eat humans or anything like that, they go all feral and become brain dead. Just what we like to call Romero from the 1968 film Night of the Living Dead. And yes, zombies. Very real. Such as vampires and ghosts. I'm sure you already knew this. What the fuck are you doing to it? Feeding it. Once it sustains its intelligence and can give us an idea of who they are and who they were and why they were as we found them, maybe we can help it and have it integrate back into the secret world of the supernatural. It's been quite a day for you. How about a drink? A drink? Yes, a drink. Making her a nice cup of tea in a quiet room. He sits with her and says, "So, you're a detective, I see." "Well, only just a detective." "Quite clever. You know, we could use a person of your skills." "Who tried to offer me a job?" "Well, I guess someone could take on your father's burden. I mean, when an employee of the Foundation dies and they're mortal and they wish to stay that way, we basically own everything that they owned. So, what about me and my mum and my brother?" "Well, when the time, or if the time ever comes for your passing, we will dispose of your bodies and your possessions and keep an eye on your next of kin. It's a policy we have. I don't know why. It's not like they knew, except for you. Now, this here is Margaret." "I'm sorry, what?" "Margaret. A woman in a black suit, looking gothy, appears and says, 'Don't worry, my dear, she is a vampire, but she is in control and won't drink blood unless a human consents.'" "Why don't you look into her eyes?" "Look into her eyes and yes." Sara then goes into a trance where he tells and instructs the vampire woman Margaret to put her in a state of hypnosis and to make her forget. The next morning, Sara wakes up in her flat, not having much memory of the last 24 hours or so. She goes to work. Her colleague Marcus asks, "Where did you go yesterday?" I don't remember. I think I was doing up some work or something." "Right. Well, a case on that murder victim, it's closed." "It's closed?" "Yeah. Turns out that they were attacked by a vampire, and we just need to accept the fact that monsters are real and we can't put it down to wild animals now." "Wild animals?" "Yeah. You'd think a vampire, next it'd be a zombie." Then, hearing that term, zombie, in her mind, she then briefly remembers the zombie that she encountered deep within the hospital. Having vivid memories and hearing the word zombie triggered something in her, making her remember. Later that night, she takes a stroll in London, being very quiet. She then hears howling sounds as the moon is full, feeling somewhat insecure. Then she hears some noises in an alleyway. Looking around, she sees something by the trash. She then calls out saying hello. Then, stepping out of the shadows, is a werewolf. Not Lawrence Talbot, but a beast, vicious and growling. Sara petrified. Then a dart is fired into him. Walking out of the dark is Lee, saying, "I think we got him sustained." Then the other team members, Brendan, Raoul, and even Tod Browning, Agent Tod, says, "Great. Why did he escape this time?" I don't know. I think he was unaware that the clocks have gone back." "Ah, yes, clocks. Always all over the place. I guess he forgot to set his clock right and transformed a lot sooner than he did. We're sorry about this, Miss Pratt. Our team security, Tull, he didn't quite get his timing right and transformed. We taught him to control his transformations, but when it's a full moon, werewolves can't sustain it." "Werewolves? Hang on, you're saying this is..." "Yes, it's Crichton, Tull, our security team. He is a werewolf. I mean, he can control it, but not in a full moon. Something that werewolves can learn to do, really. And I see that you remember. Looks like the hypnosis didn't work. What do we do with her now, boss?" "We don't do anything, Agent Tay. Of course we don't. But she knows us. She knows where we are, and if hypnosis isn't good for her, she has a strong mind. Which is why I'm going to talk with her again." Then, looking at Crichton in a cell, wolfed out and howling and scratching at the walls, Agent Browning then approaches her, saying, "Yes, like I said, he's a wild beast. But when it's not a full moon, he can control it as he's been taught. Something we teach a lot of our werewolf recruits." "You mean there's more?" "Of course there's more. There's Mr. Talbot, who is currently out of the city, dealing with an assignment I don't know, but yes, that is what he is doing. But I'm sure he secured himself for the night." Then, looking at Tull, he growls and scratches at the glass in the cell. Todd then tells her, "Come on, I think we best leave him alone and let him see through the night." Next thing, sitting by the River Thames looking at the full moon, Agent Browning then says, "The Foundation was founded in the late 1800s, in fact the very end of the century. And at the turn of the century, when it was the 20th, the Foundation was merely started by Dr. Abraham Van Helsing, Dr. Henry Jekyll, Mr. Dorian Gray, and Dr. Griffin. They formed this foundation as a way to create the illusion that man is alone, but with the scientific advancements people made in the 20th century, and especially now with phones, cameras, there's always so many times you can brush it off as a hoax. We've been doing this for some time. Every time someone gets a perfect, crisp, clear image of a Bigfoot, we come in, we delete it, and we confiscate the phone, and have that person be believed to be a fool. Why? If the truth is out there, what about aliens? Do they exist? Oh yeah, but not the only planet on this, in this universe. There's many out there. I believe that ancient aliens like gods could be out there, but whether the gods will return, I don't know.
It's a whole other world out there, a whole other universe, and people like you, civilians, only knew a small portion of that. But now, now it's getting out of hand. Of course, everybody knows that monsters exist. I don't know why we even still try and uphold that illusion. The only thing we're good for is securing and protecting the civilians. It's what the Foundation's new way is. But of course, like I say, there is the Order, and have been against us for a long time. What is the Order? Said Sara. It's a secret order. Well, not so secret. Fanatic religious people of all religions coming together to combat supernatural and those who ally themselves with them. They're kind of too extreme for us. They're mad. But they also think that maybe God is giving them signals to go to war or something. It's all bollocks, really, with them lot. Anyway, my next question. Seeing as you have good detective skills, we could use someone of your talents on the Foundation team. Wait, are you offering me a job? Your father was a good employee. I see that you must be. So, a job, do you want it? Well, I guess I could. I mean, I get paid double the amount that I usually get paid on my current job. Oh, that's fine. Name your payment, we'll pay it for you. You're going to be putting your life on the line. It's only fair you're going to say in how much you feel you're entitled to. Really? Yes. How much money do you have at the Foundation? Enough. Well then, I guess I'm accepting a job then, but what would I do? Detecting? Tracking? Like I say, you have good skills, and also, with you being a detective, I imagine you must have good tactical skills in negotiations. Again, a voice of reason. Something that the department that I'm currently running is lacking right now. Well, what do you say? I guess I accept, but what about my job at the station? I'm only just qualified as a detective. Gained that promotion. I'm sure you can tell them you've got a new job elsewhere, hand in your notice. And once you do, you can work with us. All right, then. Good. Let us know when you're ready to start. Then, Agent Browning then leaves her sat by a park bench, telling her that she should really be going home and that it's not safe at this time, as there are many dark creatures out there. Sara then goes home and settles down for the night. The next day, when at work, she hands in a notice at the police station. Marcus wondering why is she packing it in. Because, Marcus, I'm just not cut out for this job anymore. I want something quiet, something simple, like more of a desk job. Well, it doesn't mean you have to leave the force. No, I need this. A fresh start. Plus, I need to spend more time with my mother. I never did with my dad when he was alive. Look, I'm going to go. But take care of this place for me, will you? All right, then I will, said Marcus. Then, later that day, Sara returns home. Then, hearing a voice saying, I hear you want a job. petrified, wondering who the hell that was. She then gets out a bat and says, "Show yourself." It's very convenient you have a bat laying around your flat. Then the person reveals himself, revealing to be Griffin. "I come in peace." "Who the fuck are you?" said Sara. "My name is Dr. Jack Griffin. I'm director of the Foundation. And I want you to know that if you're going to be working for us, we need to know you are committed. We can't guarantee that you'll survive every mission. In fact, if you don't survive a mission, you pretty much die. But if you're ready for this new world that you're about to enter, I am. The world's changing. It's time I adapted to it, and also got to know my father a lot more than I thought I did." "Good. Well, here is your gun, and take this address. We will ID you and get you all set up. It's great to have you working for us as a new recruit. You start your trial week." "Trial week? Well, if you don't like it, we can find other ways to raise your memory and, well, have you think that what you saw was a hoax and make you still believe." "Believe what?" "What you probably used to believe in before the event, or when the planets aligned. You know, no such thing as monsters. Let me know when you're ready." Griffin then sees himself out of the flat and begins to walk down a corridor as he makes himself invisible again. Sara then enters her department in the Foundation, where the team welcome her, and then Agent Browning says, "Are you ready then?" Yes, I am, Mr. Browning. Oh, please, call me Todd. As for you, for now you will observe our field missions until you seem confident to take part in them. Do you understand? I'm a detective. Well, was a detective. But I'm ready. I'm ready to work for this institute. Excellent. Well, let's get started then, shall we? Said Browning.